The Mavericks get deep 6 by Quentin Grimes and the Philadelphia 76ers as they lose their third straight game. We'll break it down coming up next on the Dlls MAVS postgame show. Hey, what's up, Dlls Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks analyst Bobby Carrella. Of course, we are Dlls Mavs. Appreciate you joining us here on the post-game show as the Dallas Mavericks fall to the Philadelphia 76ers 130-125 at the American Airlines Center as the Mavericks lose their third straight game. Quentin Grimes leads the way for 7 Sixers in double figures with 28 points. PJ Washington, who made his return today after missing the last 7 games with a right ankle sprain, he had 29 points in 31 minutes to lead 6 Mavs in double figures, but it was not enough today as the Mavericks fall to 33-36 on the season, while the Sixers improve to 23-44 on the year. We'll break it all down here for you over the course of the next hour. We'll be joined by our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato and our national NBA insider Marc Stein a little bit later on. He's going to be doing double duty today because he's going to join the PHLY post-game show. Then he's going to join us after he finishes up with the winning side today, unfortunately that being the Philadelphia 76ers as far as today's game was concerned. Spencer Dinwiddie had a chance to tie it when 10 seconds left in the game, missed the game-tying three-pointer as the Mavericks tried to rally late in this game to get a win, but unfortunately, Bobby, it was not enough today. And unfortunately, a former Maverick had himself a terrific game today for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, so we spread a bunch of lies on the pregame show. Philly had 10 guys. They signed a bunch of dudes to 10 days and 2 ways, like right before the game. I think, was it Alex Reese that signed or no, it was Chuma Okeke that signed like this morning.
This morning.
And Jalen
Hood-Schifino this morning.
Yeah, and he played 16 minutes, and then Jalen Hood-Schifino hit 5 threes. He had previously made 2 threes in his entire career before today. In his second game with the team, and so the Sixers had more depth, and that clearly showed. Their starting lineup is all right. Grimes obviously played great, but I mean they just had way more firepower off the bench than the Mavs. That last shot by Dinwiddie, I don't really have a problem with it. There was 10 seconds or 11 seconds left.
10 seconds left, yeah.
Oftentimes we see teams just bear hug dudes. They get the ball or foul them on purpose. And so by catching and shooting right away, if Philly is going to foul you, then you're earning free throws or potentially making the 3 and going ahead. If it's a situation where Dinwiddie's taking the inbound, then is trying to hand off to Clay or trying to find a cutter or whatever, you waste a couple seconds and then you get fouled and then you're still only shooting 2 free throws and not getting a chance to tie the game. So, in those situations, you kind of have to go quick. Obviously, Dinwiddie's momentum was taking him away from the basket, and it was a turnaround fadeaway 3. So, the quality of the shot was not good. But I don't mind in those situations shooting quickly because every second matters, and teams foul now up 3. This is part of the game. But that's really neither here nor there. I mean, the Mavs I guess they had enough firepower, KG, because they scored 125. They did. I would have thought that would be enough to win this game, but I mean Philly, to their credit, dude, they scored 130 points.
Yeah, they dropped the buck 30
today.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. Not gonna lie to you. A team in Philadelphia who now has won 4 games in their last 19, 2 of those coming against the Dallas Mavericks.
Not great
during that 19-game span. I mean, the Sixers took control of this game in the third quarter, where they held the Dallas Mavericks to just 18 points in that third period. In fact, the Sixers outscored the Mavericks 34-18 in that third period. 26 of those 34 points in that third quarter came in the paint from Philadelphia, as who they were down by 4 at halftime, where the Sixers 68-64. PJ Washington had a terrific first half, his third game this season with at least 20 points in a first half. He had 20 points in 13 minutes. The Mavericks outscored the Sixers by 19 in the fast break in the first half, but the Sixers defense, Bobby, in that third quarter really locked the Mavericks down and put a lid on that basket as the Sixers started the quarter on a 6-0 run and were able to lead by double digits at the end of 3. The third quarter really turned things around for Philadelphia today.
Yes, it did. Yeah, I mean, the details of this game kind of all run together.
Yeah.
Dallas had what they were up like between like 8 and 10 for a lot of the second quarter, and then right at the end of the second, Philly made a couple threes and cut the lead down to 4 at the break.
Yep.
And then they made a few more threes to start the quarter, and I think that was the last time the Mavs led all game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, in a game like this, it's weird to say because it was such a high-scoring game, so you would think that like a 8-0 run or a 10-2 or whatever it was that they started the third quarter on, you would think that it really wouldn't matter that much, but that was kind of the game. It was like a 3-minute period where they just bang, 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 and it's like a 14-3 run or whatever, and I thought, well, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over, and it was very strange. Like, again, both teams are scoring at will all game, but it felt like a 6-point lead was like completely insurmountable.
Yeah.
Very, very strange.
The Mavs led by 11 at 63-52 with 2.5 minutes left in the first half. The Sixers closed that final 2.5 minutes of the first half on a 12-5 run, then backed that up with a 6-0 run to start that third quarter, and like I said, took control of the game from there. Bobby mentioned both teams shot the ball extremely well, especially in the first half. Dallas shot 59% from the field in the first half. The Sixers shot 51% from the field in that first half. Overall, the numbers from today's game, both teams shot over 52% from the field, but the Sixers were much better from the three-point line, going 14 of 36 from downtown at nearly 39%. Mavericks were just 10 of 34 from downtown today. That is a 29% clip. Jalen Hood-Schifino today, a career-high 19 points for the Philadelphia 76ers, just his second game in Philadelphia as he goes 5 of 9 from downtown. Of course, if you know who Jalen Hood-Schifino is, you would know that he was part of the infamous trade because Danny Ainge had no idea that he was going to be part of the trade that sent Luka Doncic to the Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis and Jalen Hood-Schifino being a part of that move as well. The Sixers had led by Quentin Grimes with the 28 points. He was a plus 14 today for Philly as they had 7 guys in double figures. Gershon Yabusele had 14 as well because to go along with 6 rebounds. Ricky Council, the fourth, had a double-double with 13 points and 10 rebounds.
Wild ass miss in the final 30 seconds of that game too.
He's got to throw it at the rim and then exactly.
I do want to highlight what Don says. So I think it's in response to one of our saying like a 9-0 run, like it's weird that it would matter in such a high scoring game. I do kind of agree with Don's point. It matters when your morale is fickle at best during these times. So there was right at the end of the first quarter, Najee banked in a 3.
Yep.
To cut the lead to 4. And normally you'd be like, cool, yeah, woohoo. But everyone on the team looked so sullen after that. There was just no juice.
None.
And there was really no emoting really of any kind from the Mavs until Clay made that 3 right at the very end of the game to cut the lead to, I forget if it was 2 or 3. And Philly called timeout, and the Mavs, PJ was sort of doing his roar flex kind of thing, and Clay was high-fiving whoever, and there was a little bit of fun having. This team does not look like it's having fun at all right now.
No, not at all. And after today's game, I mean, oh boy, the vibes have already been at an all-time low as it's been, but today it felt like there's a lot of scoring, but again, as these games get more and more, we've talked about it before, when would this team kind of hit the wall in terms of the amount of guys that are available and the energy and output that they have to give to try and stay and win these games? It feels like over the last few games, it's really caught up to them, even with the effort that they're putting forth. Even getting P.J. Washington back today, who had a double-double, it's just not enough for these guys to be able to sustain when the amount of bodies that they're running out there has to play the amount of heavy minutes that they are playing. Like I said, P.J. Washington played over 31 minutes today and hadn't played in the last 6-7 games. So there's a lot to ask of these guys, given the amount of bodies that they have. Charlie Saturday, is that what you was
laughing at?
It's true.
Yeah,
it's
put
true.
it on up there.
No.
What?
It's sad. We're
gonna get these jokes off today. What Charlie Saturday got to say? You can only get so excited at a hospice facility. Damn. Charlie Saturday off the top rope on the Dallas Mavericks postgame show.
I mean, the season is
cooked.
The season is hanging by the smallest of threads now. It's almost over. It's almost over.
Yeah, you look at this game today. I will give some credit to Max Christie, whose 3-point shot came back today. He had 18 points today. He went 6 of 8
Big
from the
game
field.
for Max.
4 of 6 from downtown. We had been waiting on a Max Christie game. He also had 8 rebounds to go along with the 18 points that he had. Because my gosh, the 3-point shot had not been great for him as of late. He goes 4 of 6 from downtown. In fact, almost hit half of the threes that the Mavericks made today in terms of the 10 3-pointers that they made. A few other numbers from this game. Mavericks wind up going from the free throw line 23 of 30 from the line. Philadelphia 20 of 24 for today. And the Mavericks actually out-rebounded the Philadelphia 76ers 45 to 39, even though at times it did not feel like it with the amount of putbacks that the Sixers had in today's game. But with the loss, the Mavericks now drop to 33 and 36 on the season. With a win today, the Phoenix Suns would pull within half a game of the Dallas Mavericks for the 10th and final spot in the play-in tournament. The Suns are in action currently right now as we speak, as they take on the Los Angeles Lakers, if you were wondering about where the standings are as far as this season is concerned. But P.J. Washington, I want to go back to him real quick. Especially early on in this game, got downhill, was getting to the basket, recognizing not a lot of paint presence and defensive presence for the Sixers. I thought it was extremely aggressive to start off this game, given his first game back in a couple of weeks here.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah.
He's a good player. A lot of his stuff is coming in transition. A lot of the team stuff is coming in transition.
Yes.
Like in the first 18, 20 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fast breaks, a lot of dunks. It was pretty exciting. Dunks are cool. Dunks are fun.
They were getting out on the break and running. They were running a lot.
This team really, over the last month or so, there hasn't been a lot of dunking.
Mm-hmm.
No Gafford, no Lively. PJ's been out. AD played the one game and he hasn't played. There's just been barely any dunking. This was a team that was among the league leader in dunks.
Yeah.
For a lot of the season. So it was cool to see him get out and run. But yeah, going back to the stretch whenever he was kind of in and out with that ankle, and then he'd come back and would sort of stink it up and would miss the next game, and then come back and 0 for 9 or whatever against the Lakers. He had some real gory stat lines in there.
Yeah.
And it was dude, what is going on? And it kind of makes sense in retrospect now, knowing that he was probably just trying to soldier on through the injury. But dude, he was, in the games that he played since that initial ankle sprain, I'm not sure he had a single dunk. Today he had 2 or 3 or 4 and was going to the basket, with no regard for human life, and was falling and it was fine, and didn't seem like he was moving gingerly or anything. So, if he is going to try and be a well, I guess they literally need him to play, otherwise they have to forfeit. But if he is going to try and play, whether he's totally healthy or whether he is still banged up, it's good to see him play hard and look good, look fluid, look explosive, look confident. He's still fun to watch, even if the team is not going to win many games.
Yeah, you could tell as the game went on, obviously trying to get his legs under from a 3-point standpoint wasn't necessarily great from the 3-point line. In fact, I don't think he made a 3-pointer today. If you look at the numbers, he made exactly none. Yeah, went 0 of 3 from the 3-point line. So he's trying to still get the outside shot back under him, but was very aggressive in attacking the rim, as I mentioned, with the 12 rebounds that he had as well, with a double-double with 29 and 12 on the game. Najee Marshall had 21 points in this game as well. Kessler Edwards, 5 points as a part of the starting lineup. Klay Thompson wound up finishing the game with 21 points. He had 10 points in that fourth quarter as the Mavericks were trying to make that comeback to try to win the game, but unfortunately it was too little too late. Spencer Dinwiddie with 18, Brandon Williams, the other player, in double figures today with 11 points. As we are now, do we have the
off game for Brandon Williams? I think.
Yeah, a little bit of an off game today. Today was 3 of 8 from the field, 0 of 3 from downtown. Did go 5 of 5 from the free throw line. As we look at the updated counter,
oh my God,
when it comes to the total number of games remaining for the two-way guys,
that's so not many games.
Yeah, Brandon Williams now has 5 games remaining on his two-way contract. Meanwhile, Kessler Edwards, with playing today, is now down to 2.
Oh my!
That is the magic number for Brandon Williams and Kessler Edwards. With how many games remaining, Bobby, in the regular season?
13.
13 games left. We are definitely counting down the days and games, unfortunately, for Brandon Williams again, with 5 games left on his two-way. Kessler Edwards now with 2 games remaining.
Kessler is – when is that? That's in 2 or 3 days from now. He'll be done.
In fact, the Mavericks schedule, as we look at it before we go to break, they play on Wednesday against the Indiana Pacers, and then they are back home on Friday against Detroit.
2 games this week, thank God.
So Friday, it looks like if Kessler Edwards is made active for these final 2 games, his final game with the Mavericks will be on Friday with the Mavericks when they take on the Fighting Tim Hardaways of Detroit here at the American Airlines Center.
Yeah, I suspect, unless Kai Jones is like really actually long-term hurt or whatever, I suspect that because there's this prorated cap on him that like he can only play so many games too before he can't play anymore.
That's
so maybe
right.
they're just keeping him inactive until Kessler can't
runs
play.
out.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, that's you're staring down the barrel of disaster right now.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
They had the minimum number of players allowed to play today without having to forfeit. 2 of their 8 players are on 2-way deals that expire within the next 2 weeks.
That's right.
And they can't replace either of them.
They cannot.
Like, somebody needs to get healthy soon because literally 2 weeks from today, they will have 6 active players unless guys come back. Which
we'll get into a little bit more later on in the show because I'm not bringing back Anthony Davis or Derek Lively. For who? For what?
It's just Hardy and Kai Jones. That's really it,
that's
right?
pretty much
it. Like Dante's not playing, Gafford's not playing,
that's
Kyrie
right.
obviously not playing. Like,
yeah.
You're running out of options quickly.
Let's take our first break here on the Dlls Mavs postgame show. When we come back, we'll be joined by our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato live from the American Airlines Center, get his thoughts and perspective on today's game. And a little bit later on, we'll be joined by our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, as well. All that and more coming up next on the Dlls Mavs postgame show. But if you're trying to get your finances together, if you're trying to meet your financial goals, whether it be debt payoff, credit card debt payoff, if you're needing to get your money in order and want to be a king of your finances, you got to use Monarch Money to do it. With Monarch Money, we know that finances can be messy and confusing at times, but Monarch Money acts like your personal chief financial officer, giving you visibility and control so you can make sure you stop earning and stop growing and make sure that you're growing as well. It's more than your average budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center for your accounts, investments, and your goals as well. So if you want to get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money, make sure you download the app today. Use code DLLS at monarchmoney.com. Again, that's monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year as well. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code DLLS. Get your finances in order today. Use Monarch Money to do it and meet those goals that you've been needing to get to.
KJ, let me tell you about a company that has done 15 plus years of research, and they have secured 30 U.S. patents for their products. It is Timeline. The cells in our bodies are the building blocks of life, and Timeline is a supplement that works with those cells to help give you more energy, feel stronger during workouts, and preserve health and mobility as you start to age. We're in our 30s. I'm about to turn 34 years old. That might seem young. It might sometimes feel young, but a lot of the times it doesn't. I'm starting to feel it in the mornings. I'm starting to feel it after lifting stuff, after working out, after spending too much time on my feet. I get drained, man. I get tired. But the patented ingredient is in Timeline is called MitoPure, which is a postbiotic nutrient that clears our dysfunctional mitochondria, a.k.a. your cell's battery packs. So this is like a natural thing that happens as you age. Your mitochondria run out of juice, and Timeline helps replenish you, recharges your cells, and helps your body system to work better. So right now, Timeline is giving you 10% off your order of MitoPure. Go to timeline.com/DLLS today to get started. Again, that's timeline.com/DLLS.
Mavericks fall for the third straight time, losing today 130-125 to Quentin Grimes and the Philadelphia 76ers, as they now have lost 10 of their last 12 games, falling 3 games below 500. Quentin Grimes had some things to say as at one point got a layup, got a steal, made a couple plays, staring down the Mavericks bench as he let them know that they were missing out, as Quentin Grimes had 28 points today in his return to Dallas. A nice reception for Quentin Grimes prior to the game as he was introduced in the starting lineup for the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's go back out to the American Airlines Center right now and welcome in our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato. As Tim, the Mavericks had a spirited effort late in the fourth quarter, down by 10 with a little less than 4 minutes to go. Cut it to within 3. Spencer Dinwiddie misses a 3 to try and tie it as the Mavericks now fall for the third consecutive time.
Yeah, Dallas, as far as we can tell, went into this game, trying to win it, hoping to win it, aiming to win it. And in that context, that's a really rough loss from Dallas tonight. To have the third quarter where you almost get doubled up on the on the score sheet. Look, obviously Philadelphia was living at the rim. Dallas does not have size. PJ Washington is their best option as a small ball center, but his return was not enough to just single-handedly fix or even tonight really even alleviate what Dallas has been just giving up constantly, this parade to the rim. And he had a good game. There's no doubt. I thought that it's pretty obvious he was the best player on the court. But this is a really tough one to lose. There's no question Dallas had the more talented team out there.
What did Jason Kidd have to say after today's game against Philadelphia?
Hasn't spoken yet, so I decided to go ahead and hop on with you guys. PJ Washington and Max Christie have both arrived. They both came to the podium and chatted. And the big thing that's going to come out of that is PJ Washington was asked about the continuing Fire Nico chants that maybe not chants, but isolated yells that happened during games. There was multiple instances of somebody yelling one. There's one very noticeable, very loud one that happened when Dallas was shooting free throws. And yeah, PJ, his response was, at the end of the day, the trade happened. We understand we have a new team now, all that Fire Nico stuff. We're sick and tired of hearing it. We just want to go out there and play, and we need the fans' support to support us, no matter who's on the court. That's just how I feel about it. That's the quote from PJ. Max was asked about it. He just said he wasn't going to comment on it. Totally understable. He's a 22-year-old.
I don't know what Max Christie has to say about that.
Yeah,
that's not really my deal, y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But that was PJ's comment. And look, absolutely, I like that's it's no surprise that's how players feel. This is a just impossible situation for fans, obviously. But it's not, there's no way for the players to hear that and think it's good or think that it helps them. I totally understand the player perspective. And obviously this was, a self-inflicted incident, but it feels like every single game, Dallas has lost 10 of the last 12. Just feels like every single game there's a new something, just difficult and hard to talk about, stemming from these games they keep playing.
Yeah, yelling it while your team is shooting free throws is kind of wild. Like, I understand you paid a ticket, you have a chance to voice your opinion on how things may be looking on the floor. But to your point, I could definitely understand PJ Washington's frustration when he's trying to actually, help win the game in some form or fashion, and fans are doing it and, reportedly responding to it while he's shooting the free throws or during the free throws that he had. So I definitely understand it from that perspective, because you don't want that to happen, especially as you're trying to concentrate on
and it happens. It happens during the free throws because obviously, that's when the arena is quietest.
Sure.
All the music and the silence and all the music is turned off. It's silent for the home team shooting free throws. That's when it's most visible. That's why it's happening. But I'm with you. Like Quentin Grimes went up to the free throw line and it was very quiet. Usually when the opposing players go up, Dallas will put up like a make noise graphic, but they don't play music over any free throws. And especially just a few minutes before when fans were yelling, while PJ Washington was shooting free throws, and then to not do it when Quentin Grimes is up there. If you're trying to rattle, not that Quentin Grimes, I guess he hit the too late, but if you're trying to rattle someone, you could at least make the argument that you're trying to rattle the opposing fan. That's why you're choosing to yell at them. I'm with you on the home team, the home player shooting free throws. It's I totally understand where PJ Washington and his frustrations come from.
Yeah. It just feels like that's kind of the next level, some of this, unfortunately, with the fans and their frustration. But yeah, if you're going to pick your spot, not the time when the guy's trying to shoot the free throws to try to help your team actually win the game. Other observations from today's game, obviously Quentin Grimes coming back for the revenge game, had the 28 points that he had. But it felt like at times the Mavericks, especially in that third quarter, just could not get anything to fall, and that led to just scoring just 18 points in that third period there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good shot making game from the Sixers. That certainly contributed some of it. Jalen Hood-Schifino scored more points than he had this entire season, hit more threes than he had his entire NBA career. He'd only hit 2 coming into this game. So, that's always going to be something that happens, but it was a rough watch, man. You would hope that PJ, once he gets acclimated, is going to add something to this defense, make them a little bit stouter. But I thought Max Christie, it was really good to see him, have a better offensive game. But the defense was, the Sixers were making a point to attack him. It looked like to me, and he was not offering always the most resistance on those drives.
Before we let you go here, as we look at the schedule coming up for the Dallas Mavericks, they are on the road.
Why don't you let me go right now? I'm going to go listen to Jason Kidd, and if he says anything notable, I'll come in and pop back on here before Stein goes.
Okay, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Ride with the wind, Tim.
As before we take our next break here, you kind of start to look at the schedule. Mavericks play on Wednesday against the Indiana Pacers, and they're back home against Detroit. And they get ready for what is a 4-game road trip on the East Coast when they take on Brooklyn, New York, Orlando, and Chicago. Where does their next win come?
I mean, they'll probably beat Brooklyn. They play them twice. They'll beat them one of those times. They play 9 straight games against the East, which is really weird.
That's right.
Most East teams don't even play 9 straight games against the East.
Yeah.
If the Mavs were trying to make a move in the standings, can you imagine what kind of golden opportunity this would be? If they were trying to get home court or something.
Oh yeah.
You're about to have a very soft patch of schedule, but not anymore.
Especially with the current state that they're in.
Something Tim was saying is the Sixers lived at the rim. That is true, but would you believe this is the fewest points in the paint an opponent has scored against the Mavs in their last 6 games? Just 58. Just 58. During that time, so over the last 6 games for the Mavs, opponents have been averaging, including today, 66.3 points in the paint per game.
Yikes.
Which is by far the most in the league. The next closest is Washington at 58.3. So 4 more layups, I guess, per game than the Wizards, who are pretty bad, although they're actually playing a little better basketball lately ever since they got
Nuggets last night.
Yeah, well, they got rid of all their vets that are just trying to jack up a bunch of garbage shots, and now they're actually playing some sports. But yeah, I mean, dude, their last 6 games: Grizzlies 74 points in the paint, Phoenix 68, Spurs 64, Spurs 66, Rockets 68, Sixers 58. And the Sixers don't even have effective size, and they were still able to get that many points. So, I mean, we are really, really, really getting a really painful example of what it looks like to play whenever you don't have any bigs. Dwight does his best, but he's 30, whatever he is, 32 or 33 now.
And was completely ineffective.
Yeah,
today.
torn Achilles. He's not an athlete, really. No. He's not the same athlete that he was earlier in his career. And he doesn't have the size and length, and Mavs have a bunch of perimeter guys like Brandon Williams and Dinwiddie and even Clay at times that aren't, they're not making their opponent's job tough either. So it's a lot of just straight line drives to the rim, and you have no resistance. It's either Dwight or Kessler back there. Those guys are not blocking a shot. So this is really, really, really hard to get a stop right now because the opponent always knows if I get past my man, I can just go all the way to the rim.
For those who are wondering how the Suns are doing in the first quarter against the Lakers, they are losing 25-11 with 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter.
No Luka, no LeBron in that game?
No, Luka's got 10 in the first.
Luka is playing.
Yeah.
Luka missed their last game.
Yeah, he missed their last game. Yeah, he sat out. But Luka cooking in the first quarter. He's got 10 points in 9 minutes. Jackson Hayes is also back for them as well. He's got 8 points in 7 minutes for the Los Angeles Lakers. But for those who are wanting the Suns to win games, Luka's not doing you any favors right now as the Lakers are up already 14 with 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Let's take our next break here on the DLS Mavs postgame show. When we come back, more all in this game, and then looking forward as the Mavericks get ready to go on the road to take on the Pacers later on this week and what it looks like. Plus, we've got an announcement when it comes to our special guest for tomorrow's show. Coming up next on the Dallas Mavericks postgame show. But if you want to get fitted in the best sports gear around, you've got to do it with FOCO. They've got hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. If you're going to a hockey game, shout out to the Stars, we're up 1-0 on the Colorado Avalanche. Or if you're going to your favorite football game, whatever the case may be, you've got to show it off your love with your team-branded bracelets, whether it's jackets, beachwear, or overalls from my guy Bobby Carella. There's something for fans almost everywhere and on every occasion. They've even got some set decorations that you can see behind me right now if you're watching us live on the postgame show right now. They donated a few awesome pieces for our sets as well, so make sure you go show them some love. So make sure you check out foco.com. I did, because I got a pair of Cowboys Crocs that are sitting at the house right now that I will slip into once I get back home to enjoy the rest of my Sunday. Check out foco.com or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code DLLS10 for 10% off. Again, that's DLLS10 for 10% off your items at FOCO. Shout out to FOCO.
The sun is shiny, the weather is weathering, and it is almost time to go touch grass. And I'm going to be doing a lot of that this summer, and hopefully a lot of that this spring too. And I'm going to get ready for the season ahead, and I want you to as well. With quality shades built to last from our friends at Shady Rays. They're an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product, and I mean world-class, rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. I have one pair, and I just might need to go buy a few more because I spend a lot of time outside, and I'm a little bit clumsy. But wait!
Oh.
If you do break your pair, if you lose your pair, if your pair gets stolen, they will replace them. If you order a pair and you don't like them, return them worry-free within 30 days. There is literally no risk, folks. They have the best eyewear protection in the entire game, and they probably have a style in your team's favorite colors too. So what are you waiting for? Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the year. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
From our guy Tim Cato, Jason Kidd didn't say much. Sorry to disappoint.
Oh wow, Tim really built that up.
He really did. He said he would come back if he had.
I will totally, guys. I'll be right there. 5 minutes.
That's right. He said, "Nope, nothing from Jason Kidd. That would be remarkable for us to talk about." I mean, I guess the question would be, what else does he? What else can he say at this particular point? You barely got enough bodies to field an NBA team to play in these games. You've lost your 3rd straight game. You lost to a team that had more players out than you did today. And Quentin Grimes came in there and had a revenge game with the 28 points that he did. I don't know how much more there is for him to say given the situation he's currently dealing with.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if they were like truly organizationally committed to trying to make a push for the playoffs, then this is the kind of game where he would get up there and say, like, this is unacceptable. This is a game we need to win.
Yeah.
You know, but I think, you know, again, judging by players' body language during the game, judging by everything, obviously, that's happened over the last, you know, month or so, it's really kind of every day is a little tougher, and every day they're a little more banged up. Your expectations diminish. Your enthusiasm diminishes. And that means that, you know, what you really don't want to have happen, and this is why I was, you know, remember all the way back to the 2017-18 season when the Mavs were 24-58. They had like the 3rd worst record in the league. Times were brutal. You know, it was before Luka, so there was like, what is the hope for the future? When is this going to turn around or whatever? But that was one thing that never really kind of took hold within the organization, is that sort of like kind of indifference to losing.
Yeah.
That kind of like, it doesn't really matter. This is just whatever. Like, you know, those teams still had Dirk and Devin Harris and JJ, guys that are pros, you know, Harrison Barnes, pro, Wesley Matthews, irrational confidence. You know, and that team never kind of let a loss, like every loss phased them still, you know, and they were happy with every win. And I just hope that down the stretch, you know, that doesn't happen with the Mavs, you know, with this year's Mavs team, that they're kind of like, well, what do you want us to do? You know, just like act real defeated and kind of like resigned. Because that can take root deep within you and can kind of mess with your DNA. Granted, so much of this is due to injury, not to just like lack of skill.
Sure.
So, you know, if Kyrie and AD were out there, I think it would be different. But like mentally and emotionally, you still want I still want there to be some fire. And that's part of what I think making, you know, PJ coming back kind of fired me up, because he'll at least get out there and talk some S and roar and growl and just bring some juice.
They brought some intensity early on. What's up, Tanner?
You asked for Tim, so I think he heard you because he came back.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
The call-out
Wow,
worked.
okay.
Oh, my God.
As we welcome back in our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato live from the American Airlines Center. Again, for those who are wondering what's happening in Los Angeles, is the Phoenix Suns, who could move within half a game of the Mavericks if they win today. Phoenix scored 15 points in the first quarter. Luka had 13. The Lakers are up 31-16 at the end of one in Los Angeles, for those who are wondering how the Suns are doing, trying to catch the Dallas Mavericks. But apparently Jason Kidd what did he have to say, if anything, for today?
I can't believe y'all called me out. I did not hear that. You would have had peace. You could have hid it from me until you just said that.
All I did was I read what you put in the chat.
It is true.
I just read what you put in the chat.
Yeah.
Main thing from Jason Kidd was just about the last play. He said that they had Klay Thompson was supposed to get the ball. He was coming around. Najee is the quarterback in that situation. He was the inbounder. He chose to give it to Spencer. He described Spencer's shot as a good shot. It just hit back rim. I don't know what else you're going to say. So I feel for Jason Kidd. There's not too much to say at this point.
Yeah. Not much. I mean,
what was the question you're going to ask me before?
What was the question I was going to ask him before?
I don't
even remember that.
I don't think there was.
I don't think there was.
What did Jason Kidd have to say?
Yeah,
I think it was just like a very general
exactly.
question.
Yeah, exactly. And then you had to go listen to what Jason Kidd had to say, and you did, and it worked out. Any final thoughts from you from today's game as we look forward to? Actually, you know what? I'm glad you're here because we can make the announcement while you're here on the program.
Oh yeah, because he's the one that booked the guest.
That's right. You are the one that actually booked the guest. Tomorrow, our show, we will be have our show at 12 p.m. tomorrow. By the way, this is not the end of our show, just in case you're wondering. At 12 p.m. tomorrow, I just want to make sure that was clear before I made the announcement. We will have our regular podcast at noon tomorrow, and we will be joined by ESPN's Tim McMahon, who, of course, has written a new book, The Wonder Boy, discussing Luka Doncic and his time in Dallas, and, of course, the building of trying to make a team around Luka Doncic. So we will have Tim McMahon for the first two segments of our show tomorrow. So make sure you mark your calendar and clock at noon tomorrow as ESPN's Tim McMahon discussing his new book, The Wonder Boy. He will be on the program.
With the extra chapter at the end, kind of about a little bit more about that whole thing that went down on Feb 1. So I'm sure there's gonna be a lot learned. It's hitting the shelves pretty soon.
It is. March 25th is when it hits the shelves. I've read the book. The final chapter is pretty explosive, if you ask me personally. But definitely excited to talk to him about the book tomorrow as well.
He should change his name.
To what?
I don't know. Anything. Not Tim.
Oh, like, are you trying to be like the Alpha Tim? Tim Prime?
Well, I am. And so.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
It's funny. There are a lot of Tims in the Mavs universe.
Yeah.
Cato, McMahon, Legler. There's a lot of McMahons in the. Or
Kalish,
a lot of,
obviously, at the morning news.
There
was one that went by
Hardaway.
Hal back in the day.
Who?
Hardaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Thomas. Tim Thomas.
That's a Mavs legend.
Yeah.
He awakened something deep within Dirk. Game 5 of the conference finals.
So there you go.
He played for Dallas for a second, too.
Yeah, no, he did. He was pretty decent as a Mav.
But yes, that'll be our guest tomorrow at 12 o'clock, beginning at the top of the show. Tim McMahon of ESPN discussing his new book, The Wonder Boy, Luka Doncic and the Curse of Greatness, coming to the show. Anything else, Tim, before we let you go here on this Sunday afternoon?
I will see you guys tomorrow.
All right, man.
Fare thee well.
Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
You guys.
Cut him off.
My bad.
Cut him off.
My bad.
From Jay Powers, we need an all Tim show.
The world is not ready, and also we deserve much better. We deserve after everything we've endured this season together.
Mm-hmm.
We deserve a Kevin. We deserve a Tanner.
And a Bobby. We definitely deserve a Bobby.
Every time I leave and then come back, something horrible happens. So I don't know. I guess if anything, we need me so that I don't leave and then come back.
Well, at least
to
no
a broken hand or a trade or whatever.
Well, at least no one got injured today.
That's true. Although we did fear. Well, you feared the worst for Najee.
I did fear the worst when Najee hurt his leg earlier in the game. I was like, oh, there goes another one.
He was limping.
Yeah.
He was limping for a little bit, but
yeah,
luckily he ended up all right. 21 more points for him, by the way.
Yeah, Najee over his last 9-10 games, average over 18 points per game. I wish he wouldn't smoke as many layups and floaters as he does, but at the same time, it happens.
7 of 13 on twos.
Yeah.
That's really good.
It's not bad.
For me, it's the threes with him, and it's kind of the same for PJ. Now, granted, again, you're not playing with kind of the shot creators that you normally are going to play with, or guys with gravity like AD or whatever when they're healthy. So the quality of threes that PJ and Najee are going to get for the rest of the season probably are not going to be very high. Let's be honest. But I'd still like to see him knock some down. Najee's jumper is it's just so integral, dude. Like, he can do more offensively than like Derrick Jones Jr., for example. Like last year, if Derrick Jones's jumper wasn't falling in the half court, there was really nothing that you were going to get from him. You were hoping for offense in the full court in that case.
Yeah.
But if he was hitting threes, and it's like, oh my God, this guy can hit threes and play defense. Najee has the off the dribble game, floater, drive to the basket, all that stuff. But if he can make threes, then dude, I mean, he is like, his ceiling is so high on a nightly basis.
Yeah. Shout out to Quentin Grimes. Apparently, he was wearing a Mike Madonna Dallas Stars jersey after the game. Courtesy of Landon Thomas, who covers the Dallas Mavericks, of course.
Landon gave him the jersey?
No. Oh, I just no, he did not. No, but he was spotted wearing a Mike Madonna Dallas Stars jersey.
Okay.
I want to go back to a point real quick that you made before we take our last break here and welcome
Stars
in.
lead 1-0, by the way. Oh, and it's not 1-0 anymore.
Oh, it's tied at 1. You made an interesting point that I think is worth considering because, as we get down to the final 14 or so games of the regular season, trying to ensure this team doesn't let go of the rope because the way that things are going, obviously, I see a lot of folks in there commenting about, you guys feeling the negativity, and to which I would ask you, what else? How would you feel based off what the season has gone through right now? We have tried to keep it as positive as we can, given the circumstances of the situation. But to your point about trying to not allow that to seep in and take deep root as far as the team and the culture is concerned, what are you looking for over the last 14 games to ensure that that doesn't necessarily happen given the situation that they're
Well, the quote from J-Kid we played in the pregame was just like, we got to bring the fight. Got to bring the fight. That's what he's using, energy and fight a lot. Like those two words. So I guess if he is going to get on the microphone and say that is what we need, then that is going to be the thing that we should be kind of evaluating and judging them on. They had a lot of energy on offense tonight. I don't necessarily think they played with that level of energy on defense. They did for stretches, and they were getting out, forcing turnovers, getting out of the break and scoring. And, down the stretch of the fourth quarter, as the game kind of tightened up a little bit, things got better. But everything was just a little loose, for most of the game. And that just can't be the case. It can't be the case because you don't have someone behind you to clean up all your mistakes, and Brandon Williams, like 6 foot. Dinwiddie is not, the same level of athlete as he was when he was younger. And so it's tougher for him to stay in front of guys. And, you don't have like Max Christie is like, he tries hard, but he's kind of slight in his frame. And Najee is just playing 40 minutes. I'm not expecting Najee to go chase around guards all game.
Yeah.
And PJ, same thing. So, where are your stops coming from? Like, you don't really have many one-on-one stoppers capable of like shutting guys down for possessions at a time, like for stretches of a game. Maybe you can for one time, so like they have to work as a team to get stops, and they didn't do enough of that, so judging by J-Kid's own points of emphasis, like they were not good enough.
Yeah. Shout out to Charlie Saturday. It's got to be an honest mix. No need to force fake positivity if it isn't there. I think y'all have struck a good balance with that. Appreciate that.
Cheers. Yeah, I mean, this season sucks.
It sucks, man.
This season sucks so bad. Like
there's no two ways about it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that there was to cling on to after the trade was that AD is like, this team is still really freaking good with AD and Kyrie. Like that's a great duo. But AD's out, and then it was like, well, AD might come back in time, but now Kyrie's out, and Kyrie is going to miss part of next season too. Like the only question is how much of it. So. The immediate future is just so cloudy, and the present is so bad that it's hard to have something to hope for. It's just hard. But, I mean, we're trying.
And we haven't even got to the offseason yet. Who knows what more changes could be coming to this team by the time we have opening night in October.
Maybe a lot.
But, yeah, it's tough. It's tough sledding. And I feel for the players who have had to endure this because you could tell at different points they have obviously tried to keep the positivity and the fight going on this team, but bodies just simply have not been available to do so in the way that they feel like they could have to salvage the season.
Bodies aren't being added; they're being subtracted.
Yes,
like it's just bleak.
On a daily.
Everybody
on
man.
a daily.
It's bleak for everyone.
Let's take our last break here on the Dlls Mavs postgame show. When we come back, we'll welcome our national NBA insider Marc Stein with his thoughts and perspective on today's game as we look forward to the rest of the week as the Mavericks get ready to go on the road to take on Rick Carlisle and the Indiana Pacers. All that more coming up next on the Dallas Mavs postgame show.
But first, I want to shout out everyone that has become a diehard since the last time that I did a game, which would have been March 14th. Oh, my goodness. Shout out to Eddie, to Anthony, to Remy, to Ted, to Joseph, Adrian, Daniel, Dirk, but not Nowitzki, Michelle, Matthew, Michael, Matt, Xavier, Kevin, but not Gray, Joseph, Stephanie, Blake, Patrick, Timothy, Mark, Nick, Eric, Scott, Jim, not my dad, Cody, Gregory, Michael, Steven, Sabrina, Jamie, Christy, Daniel, Zach, Daniel, different Daniel. Shout out to Rick, Alex, Alton, Trey, Cullen, Jeff, Rosemary, Adam, and Zach. Oh my goodness,
Wow.
It's been a crazy weekend here
Let's
at DLS.
go.
There have been so many people signing up to take advantage of our deal. It's becoming a diehard. It's been incredible to see. Diehard is a member of our community here. What you get when you sign up is unfettered access to our website, all the premium paywalled written content. You get to join the DLS Diehard Discord Lounge. You get a free shirt when you sign up and a discount on any other stuff that you could possibly want, and you get a physical Diehard card. There's so many reasons to join the group, and thank you to every single one of you who have. Right now it is 4 buckaroos a month. It's a spring training thing we got going on. I don't know how long that lasts, by the way, because the Rangers start like very soon. So,
March 27th, man.
Yeah, so that's
Opening
probably
day.
something you want to take advantage of while there's still time. But I also want to get a little sad about Sleeper. Now, I did win my Sleeper pick today, Tanner. But for the week, today's success does not count. For the week, I was 2-2, which is still 500, but my win percentage is lower relative to the 2 1-1s and to the undefeated Jeff Wilson.
Let's go,
So Sam
Jeff
on the
Wilson.
Stars, Jeff Kavanaugh on the Cowboys, Jeff Wilson 2-0 on the Rangers.
Okay.
I am a lowly 2-2, but with today's win, I'm at 3-2. So I should be a little higher than that, but I didn't feel like updating to PSD. But you'll see the results reflected next week. I'm doing well here. So anyway, shout out to Sleeper. Shout out to all of y'all for becoming a diehard. Now it's on with the show.
Well, you got some catching up to do with Jeff Wilson there.
A little bit.
Already 2-0.
A little bit.
Check out our Rangers coverage as well. It's incredible with Jeff Wilson, John Radagans. We are just 11 days away from opening day for the Texas Rangers trying to get back to the postseason and try to go get another World Series championship.
No sign yet.
No
Okay.
Stein yet. He's still, what is he, just hanging
out with PHLY
around with
right
the
now?
winners?
Probably.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I mean, we're not going past an hour, so Stein can join us. Stein can join us for a good 7
Yeah,
minutes.
for a hot 7 minutes. As we look at the schedule for the Dallas Mavericks over the next 3 games, Indiana on Wednesday, so they get a couple of days off on Monday and Tuesday, then they'll be on the road against Rick Carlisle and the Indiana Pacers, have been playing pretty well as of late. In fact, when you look at the Eastern Conference standings, Indiana finding themselves firmly in a playoff position as we head to the final few weeks of the regular season. So Indiana will be on Wednesday, and then they come back home to take on the Detroit Pistons on Friday. In fact, Indiana 37-29 right now. They are a game behind the Milwaukee Bucks for the 4th spot, which would give, of course, them home court advantage in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Indiana and Detroit are 5th and 6th in the East.
They are.
You know, Indiana for a long time was just kind of wallowing in no man's land at like 9th or 8th or whatever, but they've gotten really hot lately, and then the Pistons obviously are playing great. Beneath them, though, the Hawks in 7th with a .478 win percentage, identical to the Mavs'. So Dallas barely clinging on to the 10 seed in the West with their same record would be the 7th seed.
That's
in the
incredible.
East.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Now, I mean, Atlanta's far behind Detroit, so they're basically, they're locked into the play, and they're not going to be able to move up unless they go undefeated or something. But like, dude, the East, it's still, don't be fooled by the top 4 or 5 teams in the East, or the 6 if you want to include the Pistons. The East is still a heaping pile of poo for the most part.
You want to know how bad the East is? The Portland Trailblazers would hold the 10th and final play-in spot in the Eastern Conference. Chicago is 28-39. San Antonio is 28, or excuse me, Portland is 28-39. Portland would hold the 10 spot.
And they're 13th.
And they're 13th in the Western Conference.
And they're playing with the Western Conference schedule, too.
That's right.
The East plays an Eastern Conference schedule. Like, these teams, you get to play each of these teams 4 times, or some of them 3. The Wizards, the Hornets, the Nets, the Sixers, the Raptors, the Bulls. Now, the Mavs did go 0-2 against Philly this year. They are 1-1 against the Hornets, so it's not like they, crushed them by any means, but
and give credit to Orlando today. They ended the 16-game winning streak of the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got a 108-103 win on the road today.
Yeah, Mavs still got the Magic too.
That's
coming up.
They just do still have the Magic. So give credit to Orlando with a big road win today. Paolo Banchero had 24 points as the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have just been steamrolling everyone. As I mentioned, coming into today with a 16-game winning streak, they fall by 5 at home, 108-103. So big road win for Jamal Mosley and his group, as far as the Orlando Magic is concerned.
Former future head coach candidate for your Dallas Mavericks, Jamal Mosley.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Side note, I am watching Marc Stein right now live on.
So he is still on PHLY?
Dude, just completely forgot what team he plays for.
That's right.
I guess so.
Good gracious.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
We see how Mark is when it comes to the games, whoever wins. I guess he just hangs out with the winners on the in a particular game like this.
God.
So it is what it is. But yes, that's what the Mavericks are looking at as far as their schedule is concerned. Indiana, Detroit, and then they begin a 4-game road trip with Brooklyn, New York, Orlando, and Chicago before coming back home to take on Brooklyn again, and then Atlanta, and then they will go on the road for 2 games on a back-to-back against the Los Angeles Clippers on April 4th and 5th, and then the game on April 9th here in Dallas when the Mavericks host Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers on April 9th, and then April 11th and 13th, they will finish up their schedule at home against Toronto, and then on the road against the Memphis Grizzlies. They may have something to play for as far as Memphis is concerned, because when you look at the top of the Western Conference right now, seeds 2 through 6 are separated by 3.5 games. That is how tight things are as far as the Western Conference is concerned. Oklahoma City has ran away with the number 1 seed in the West, but the Rockets have vaulted all the way up to the 2nd seed. They're on a 6-game winning streak. They're 43-25. The Nuggets, as I mentioned, they lost at home last night. They got swept by the Wizards this season, and they are now 43-25 as well. Then you got Memphis also so you got 3 teams at 43-25, 2 through 4, Rockets, Nuggets, Grizzlies. The Lakers at 40-25, and then the Golden State Warriors, who just cannot lose since acquiring Jimmy Butler. They've won 7 straight, including a win last night over the New York Knicks. They're 9-1 in their last 10 and won 7 straight. They have vaulted all the way up to 6th in the West. They're 39-28 at 11 games over 500. Then you have the Timberwolves at 39-29 in the 7th spot. Clippers at 37-30 in the 8th spot, and then Sacramento. They're just 5-5 in their last, and they've lost 4 straight themselves. They are now 33-33 on the season. So look out. Maybe Sacramento's pulling themselves back toward
no, they're not.
the bottom, having lost 4 straight. They have the same amount of wins as the Mavericks now do, as far as the win column is concerned, but they're 3 clear of them in the loss column there. So that gives you kind of a look at the lay of the land when it comes to the Western Conference. I think. Okay. Let's welcome in our National NBA Insider, Marc Stein, fresh off his appearance with PHLY after the Philadelphia 76ers send the Mavericks to their 10th loss in the last 12 games, their 3rd straight loss overall. What was the mood with PHLY over there?
They are not happy.
Yes, good. Yes, good.
They wanted the L.
Of course.
They are worried about they're very worried about keeping that top 6 protected pick. I mean, this was I have to say, it was a pretty entertaining, spirited game, considering the injury lists were so long, crazy long. I mean, how many injuries did we count up? Was it 19 or 20 in the end of players who weren't available? But
19, I believe.
yeah, I mean, they don't want to win. They don't want to win. The PHLY guys want that. They want that pick. Just like I think probably like most of the DLS guys, they want that pick.
You could say that, I guess. We want some other things, but we still
What
got
do you want? What do you want, Super Kev?
I mean, we're gonna be just completely honest with it. I mean, let's get the season over with. Like, it's time to move on. This season is cooked in a lot of ways, but hey, we have a job to do, and the Mavericks still have games to play, and guys are still fighting. Some fighting for their NBA lives and careers. But in a lot of ways, this team who had championship aspirations, that is not where they are right now. And if that is the case for a team that is looking toward that kind of future, this is not the season that they were looking for, as far as the season has gone. So, yeah, it's time to put this thing in some saran wrap, put that thing in the deep freezer and cook, make sure it's going to freeze it and move on.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, on one hand, I mean, I don't know the status of the Lakers-Suns game, but, the Mavs lead. The Mavs hold on the number 10 spot is dwindling to a degree, but it's like, are the Suns really trying to grab it and like just they don't even give the vibe that they want it. What's happening in that Lakers Suns game?
Lakers are up by 14 with just less than 3 minutes left in the first half, 47-33. Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves have combined for 26 of the 47 for Los Angeles so far. Kevin Durant, so far in this game, has got a smooth 4 points on 1 of 7 shooting in 15 minutes so far against Los Angeles. So, yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I saw before I joined the PHLY squad was that Luka outscored the Suns 13-11 in the first quarter.
Oh, he outscored their starters 13-11? Yeah, because they want to have 15 points total in the first quarter.
All right, so maybe I misread it. Anyway,
yeah.
Bobby, you're awfully quiet.
I'm ready for the end. I'm ready to skip the scene, Mark.
Hit the fast forward button.
I've been around this league long enough to know how the last 10 or 15 games go in lost seasons, and I'm expecting a lot of gore, a lot of violence, a lot of sorrow, aimlessness.
And that's before April 9th.
Yeah, and I would say inactives, but like they're already so many inactives. Like it's just tough. But I'm curious. I don't know how much of this stuff is like decided in advance. Maybe you've caught wind of this, but given the very rapidly dwindling numbers of available games the Mavs have for Kessler Edwards and for Brandon Williams, with the knowledge that they do have the opportunity to sign a guy with 4 days left in the regular season, are there plans, to your knowledge, to sign one of them? Are there plans to even use those last 4 days at the end of the season, depending on how it goes? Like, or are they leaving their options open right now?
Yeah, I mean, the way it was described to me was that health and the state of the roster would heavily factor into those decisions. And I mean, it's still almost a month away. I mean, that's the crazy part. On one hand, so you got Super Kev over here saying, I wish the season would end. And it's like, April 9th when Luka returns and April 10th when the Mavs finally get some spending cash. I mean, that's still almost a month away. So, the Mavs will have, they could feasibly, like Kessler Edwards. And that's the other thing. I mean, I really need to do a little bit more checking, because once Kessler Edwards runs out of NBA games, I mean, he's still on a 2-way contract, but then he's just going to be inactive here for a couple of weeks. And then the Mavs would have the option. Do you want to convert Kessler Edwards, or do you want to convert B. Will with as well as he's played here? Do you explore the scenario of, is there a way to convert both if you don't immediately spend the money on April 10th? So, I mean, there is optionality to explore, but it also feels so far away that I don't think they've made decisions at this point. I mean, we're basically it's March 15th, 16th, whatever today is. I mean, you also you owe it to yourselves probably to just see what the free agent pool looks like on April 10th, and if is there someone available that entices you. So I would imagine there's going to be at least one move between April 10th and the end of the regular season, but pinpointing that at this point, not sure I can do that for you yet.
They would be trolling at that point if they make a move on April 10th.
I mean, what you could do is sign a guy for a minimum then with like the option at a minimum the following year. So like there is strategy moving forward.
Yeah, no, I get it, but it just would be like, come on, man. It would be hilarious.
What's the way they don't sign with anyone else? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the ironies of the season, and again, this is way, way, way down the list in terms of, pressing items to discuss, but like how many times we talked about this team having so many guards and so much guard depth, and now it's like it is all gone. And now what we're asking is, where is the ball handling on this roster? Like, do they have to convert Brandon Williams just to, to have a ball handler, an extra ball handler that is on the roster beyond the end of this regular season? I mean, it's just crazy the way the guard situation has played out, because next season, even if Kyrie Irving makes a return, December, whatever, November, December, January, whatever it is. And I have to say, Kyrie was here today and on the bench and looking like he was in pretty good spirits. Both he and Anthony Davis were pretty visible on the bench, but they're going to have to get some more ball handling. I mean, that has suddenly become a very big need.
Mark, it's good to see you. We appreciate you hopping on with us after, hobnobbing with PHLY throughout most of the show, but we'll forgive you for it this time around.
Did I mess up? Am I late? Am I woefully late?
Oh, yeah, we're about to go. Yeah, we're about to go.
Yeah,
it's time to go. But we appreciate you and your dedication to still come on this show.
We do.
After hanging out with PHLY.
Well, now I feel better. I thought I actually timed it. I didn't time it correctly.
No,
you were off by a few.
It's
cool,
okay.
Though.
It's cool.
It's okay.
It's cool. Trust me. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
I mean, astronomically, you were on time. Like, it depends. Time is a relative thing, Mark,
kind of like the season. It's been kind of relative, just what it is. But it's good to see you. We appreciate you.
All right. I will see you guys soon in person, and you can yell at me for messing up the show.
We'll not yell at you. It's
we love you,
good,
Mark.
Man.
It's all good, man.
No, it was great.
We appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
You guys are convinced. You guys sound convincing.
I'm not mad.
We're not mad at all. Okay.
God, stop talking about it.
Jeez.
It's fine.
Bye, Mark.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Mark.
That'll do it for us here on the Dlls Mavs post-game show as the Mavericks fall to the Philadelphia 76ers. How about that? 130 to 125, dropping to 33 and 36 on the season. The Mavericks will be back on the floor on Wednesday when they visit Rick Carlisle and the Indiana Pacers. Tip-off at 6 p.m., which means our pregame show will be at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday. But we will have our regular show tomorrow at high noon. We will be joined by ESPN's Tim McMahon to discuss his brand new book, The Wonder Boy, Luka Doncic and the Curse of Greatness. We will discuss that with him during the first couple of segments of our show.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to that conversation with him tomorrow, again at high noon, right here on the Dlls Mavs podcast. Appreciate Marc Stein for joining us. Appreciate our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato for joining us as well. And also our producer, Tanner, making us look good and sound good. As always, appreciate you, sir. That is our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Carella. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 12 p.m. right here on DLLS Sports. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.